I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, July the 21st, brought to you in part by Biozyme, makers of VitaFirm Mineral, made right there in St. Joe Mo, best mineral that money can buy, sold for nearly 40 years by my good friend Dave Gallagher. Thought he was the toughest man in the world, but found out on a visit with him on Monday that he's not. But I tell you what, as good a guy as you'd ever want to talk to, but get a hold of David Gallagher there and see about getting on board there with some Biozyme products. Your board takes a breather on Monday. It was up big there late last week, and we saw some huge gains there, and inexplicably strong feeder cattle market, and just launching as much as $7 higher than our lofty index levels, which is really hard to believe there. Of course, we're kind of in a month here where we don't have anything close to us. We're in July. We don't have a July live cattle or feeder cattle contract, so things don't really have to tie in that close. But up here in Emporia, Kansas, but that's the way Buster Wheat used to say it, a longtime cattleman that was from this area, and he come down to our country there in eastern New Mexico and was buying cattle, but that's the way he always said it, was Emporia, Kansas. He was very proud of where he was from, and after realizing where that was at and finding out a lot more about it, I don't blame him a bit. But out here in the Flint Hills, where there's a lot of activity going on, a lot of shippings going on, all the trucks in the country need to be making their way this way, because most all those double stock cattle will be coming off this week. Going to be at some deliveries there. Hope to bring you guys some pictures and video and give you a little more idea of what's going on out here. But let's look at the board for Monday, August live cattle futures down a buck at 102.27. October down 50 cents at 106.37. Kind of moderated out from there on out on the rest of your traded months there on live cattle contracts, from down a quarter to down 40 cents, but not a big deal. August feeder cattle down a $1.10 at 141.60. Still well higher, or $6 higher than what your index is on your real-time index, and it's up there quite a bit as they've been running these green grass yearlings through. But for August feeder cattle, that is a heck of a price. September's at 143 even, down just 32 cents. You're going out from there, and they were down 62 cents to down $2.30. So did take some off your out fronts on the feeder cattle. Let's talk about the weighted average on last week's fed cattle market in your 5-area feeding region. 81,000 head cash sales. Hate to say negotiated cash, because there's really no negotiation about it anymore. Your packers have fully made sure that everybody knows how backed up everybody, all these cattle are, and everybody knows that. So if they give you a bid, you pretty much take it or leave it. There's not a lot of negotiation that goes on with that, and if you can get a bid and get scheduled in for kill, you pretty much take that, and they're actually kind of forcing that down people's throats. You're just whatever cash bid they put out there, and that's their response to the big 50-14 push that we see. But 81,000 head for last week, that compares to 108,600 the previous week and 77,600 the same week a year ago. But live sales last week on your steers was steers and heifers, 94 to $1 a pound live. Live steer weighted average was 96.36. That was actually up 38 cents, so just a tick stronger. And your dress sales, 152 to 160. Dress steers had a weighted average price of 157.56. That was actually down 10 cents, but just kind of a decent fat cattle market last week on your cash sales there. Nationwide, we had cash sales of 88,650 head, and you think, well, that's not a whole lot more than they had on your 5-area feeding region. So that goes to show you not a lot of cash sales outside your 5-area feeding region. 88,650 nationwide compared to 81,000 in the 5 areas there. 14% of your nationwide sales went for the 2 to 4 week delivery. They are trying to get more cattle, more captive supplies out front. because it's appearing that there's not going to be a hole here as we get into the fall, and they're going to load up a lot of cattle out there, and we're going to be very, very susceptible to a down market as we get further out here. 22,300 head of negotiated grid sales, and that's what some people in the industry think that's our way out, and that's why they're pushing back against the mandated negotiated cash minimums, because they think that they can talk the packers into doing more negotiated grid, and that goes right back to Steve Stratford's talk there. If you listen to his last video, talking about how everybody's hung up on the premiums, and that just makes them feel good about themselves, I guess, as they go broke, that they're chasing those premiums with no base price really to establish anything off of. Let's talk about feeder cattle markets. Don't miss Fredonia livestock auction, Fredonia, Kansas. They've got 11 loads of green grass yearlings in the barn, another 8 loads on their in-house video auction there, so should have a really good sale at Fredonia on Tuesday. Your real-time index late Monday sitting at 135.69. That was actually up 39 cents. So your feeder cattle board was down $1.10 on the nearby, and your cash sales were up 39 cents. But like I said earlier, sitting $6 back of where that nearby August feeder cattle is as we get late in July here. But let's look at some of your big sales, your high volume Monday sales. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City. Stopped by there for a little bit on my way coming up to Emporia here to the Flint Hills. 8,000 head. It was hot, but not unbearably hot, in the mid-90s there. They had the sprinklers out for those cattle. Cattle looked very comfortable that were out in the pens there, but they had a lot of yearlings in there, and then the condition on them was right. Feeder steers steady to $3 higher. Feeder heifers $1 to $6 higher there. Steer calves were unevenly steady for the most part, and heifer calves $2 to $8 higher. So the heifer buyers came to life there in Oklahoma City on Monday. You look at this long string here, the Alpha Producers livestock firm there, and saw those cattle go through 227 head of 900-pound steers through the ring there in Oklahoma City, bring 131.85. That's a hell of a sale there on those big yearlings, and a long string of them. Joplin Regional Stockyards, about 4,100 head there, $2 to $5 higher. The stick-out sale I saw in Joplin through Cattle Market Central here with DV Auction, 81 head, 717-pound steers, 147.10. How about Bluegrass Stockyards, Lexington, the flagship location right there, the main place. Look at these load lots and bigger there on a Monday, and pretty impressive if you look at these. That's out of Bluegrass Stockyards. These are loads of steers and bigger strings of them, but the stick-out deal that I saw you see in the middle there, 56 head, 868-pound steers in Lexington, Kentucky, 134 1/4. But the best sale that I saw anywhere on Monday was at the little market with the big prices, Sylvan Sales Commission, Sylvan Grove, Kansas there. Look at these calves. I tell you what, you think these Iowa and Nebraska farmer feeders don't want to buy something that's going to eat up a lot of corn to add value to their corn and cheapen themselves up? Look at here, 78 head. 570-pound steer calves going to feed at 169.85. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.